In the bustling, often chaotic world of the 17th century, a quiet philosopher named Baruch Spinoza offered a radical path to peace. He lived a simple life, grinding lenses to support himself, while his mind explored the very fabric of existence. Spinoza's ideas were so revolutionary that he was cast out from his own community. Yet, his work offers us a profound and enduring source of wisdom. He invites us to look at the world, ourselves, and our troubles in a completely new light. His philosophy is not just an abstract exercise, it is a practical guide to achieving a state of calm, understanding, and genuine happiness in our daily lives. Why should we care about a thinker from so long ago? Because the problems he wrestled with are timeless. We all struggle with frustrating emotions like anger, envy, and fear. We all yearn for a sense of freedom and control over our lives. Spinoza provides a beautiful and logical framework for addressing these very human challenges. He suggests that many of our anxieties come from a misunderstanding of how the world truly works. By correcting our perspective, he believed, we could soothe our minds. He offers us a toolkit for thinking more clearly, and, as a result, living more peacefully. Spinoza's central promise is that wisdom can lead to tranquility. He saw philosophy as a kind of therapy for the soul. Instead of praying to a distant personal God for intervention, he encouraged us to use our greatest tool, our reason. By understanding the causes behind events, both in the wider world and within our own minds, we can stop being tossed around by circumstance. We learn to accept what we cannot change and focus our energy on what we can, our own thoughts and reactions. This journey toward understanding is, for Spinoza, the noblest and most rewarding path a person can take. His legacy is one of profound intellectual courage. At a time when challenging religious orthodoxy was dangerous, Spinoza dared to present a universe governed by logical necessity, not by the whims of a supernatural king. He showed us that we do not need to look outside the natural world to find the divine, or to discover a code for living well. Everything we need is already here, waiting to be understood through careful and patient thought. His ideas continue to inspire those seeking a rational and deeply meaningful approach to life, offering comfort not through faith, but through clarity. Spinoza's most famous and challenging idea is that God and nature are two words for the same thing. He asked us to set aside our image of God as an old man with a beard, sitting on a throne in the sky. This traditional view, he argued, makes us feel small and separate from the divine, like subjects ruled by a distant monarch. Instead, Spinoza proposed that God is everything. God is the laws of physics, the growth of a tree, the orbit of the planets, the chemical reactions in our brain, and the very thoughts we are having right now. God is the single, infinite, and unified substance of reality itself. This concept is often called pantheism. It means that the divine is not separate from the universe, it is the universe. Imagine looking at a vast ocean. You can see individual waves, ripples, and currents, but they are all just different expressions of the one body of water. For Spinoza, we are like those waves. We are not separate beings created by an external God. We are modes, or expressions, of the one substance that is God, or nature. This simple shift in perspective has enormous consequences. It means we are all connected, not just to each other, but to every part of the cosmos. This oneness changes how we relate to the world around us. When we see a beautiful sunset, we are not just witnessing a pretty spectacle, we are experiencing a direct manifestation of the divine order. When we study biology or astronomy, we are not simply gathering facts, we are, in a sense, getting to know the mind of God. Spinoza's universe is not a cold, mechanical place. It is a vibrant, interconnected, and sacred whole, governed by eternal and unchanging laws. There is a deep and profound beauty in this vision, as it elevates the natural world to the highest possible status. Because everything is a part of this single system, nothing happens by chance. Every event, from a falling leaf to a human decision, is the result of a long and unbreakable chain of causes and effects. This is Spinoza's determinism. It doesn't mean we are puppets, but rather that our actions and thoughts are as much a part of nature's logical flow as anything else. Understanding this helps us to let go of regret and bitterness. The person who wronged you was acting according to the complex causes that shaped them. The unfortunate event that occurred was an inevitable outcome of prior conditions. This view doesn't excuse bad behavior, but it replaces anger with a desire to understand. Spinoza believed that most of our suffering comes from what he called passive emotions. These are feelings like anger, jealousy, fear, and sadness that seem to happen to us. We feel overwhelmed, as if we are a small boat being tossed on a stormy sea of feelings. We might get furious at a traffic jam, anxious about a future event, or deeply hurt by a critical comment. In these moments, we are passive because we are being controlled by external events. We are reacting without understanding the true cause of our emotional disturbance. Our reason is switched off, and we are at the mercy of our immediate impulses. The solution, according to Spinoza, is to turn these passive emotions into active emotions. This happens when we engage our reason to understand why we are feeling a certain way. Instead of just being angry in traffic, we can use our reason to think, I am angry because my desire to get home quickly is being frustrated. This traffic jam is a result of many causes, none of which are personal. My anger is not helping the situation, it is only causing me distress. This process of analysis moves us from a state of passive suffering to one of active understanding. We are no longer just a victim of the feeling, we are its observer and analyst. Think of a doctor examining a patient. A doctor does not get angry at a disease. Instead, they study its causes, its symptoms, and its nature in order to treat it. Spinoza encourages us to become doctors of our own minds. When you feel a surge of envy, for example, do not just stew in it. Investigate it. Ask yourself, what specific belief is causing this envy? Is it the belief that someone else's success diminishes my own worth? Is this belief rational? By dissecting the emotion with the sharp tool of reason, we rob it of its power over us. The feeling may not vanish instantly, but its grip loosens. This practice leads to a state Spinoza called the intellectual love of God. It is not a romantic or sentimental feeling. It is the deep and peaceful joy that comes from understanding our place in the grand logical order of nature, or God. When we see that everything, including our own emotions, follows from the necessary laws of the universe, we can stop fighting against reality. We begin to understand events rather than just rage against them. This understanding brings a profound sense of calm and acceptance, a quiet happiness that is not dependent on whether things are going our way. Many people think freedom means being able to do whatever you want, whenever you want. Spinoza had a very different and more profound idea of freedom. For him, we are not free when we are slaves to our passions and ignorant impulses. A person who flies into a rage at the slightest provocation is not free. They are a puppet of their anger. A person who constantly seeks wealth or fame, driven by envy or insecurity, is not free. They are chained to their desires. True freedom, Spinoza argued, is not about the absence of external constraints, but about acting from a place of reason and self-knowledge. True freedom comes from understanding. Specifically, it comes from understanding the causes that determine our thoughts and actions. We are free when we know why we are doing what we are doing, and when that why is based on rational thought rather than a confused passion. For instance, a free person chooses to be kind not because they fear punishment or hope for a reward, but because they understand that kindness is a rational expression of our shared human nature. They act from an internal necessity of their own reasoned mind, not from the push and pull of external forces or chaotic emotions. This might sound like a paradox. How can we be free if our actions are determined? Spinoza resolves this by saying that freedom is aligning ourselves with necessity. Imagine you are a skilled sailor. You cannot control the wind, which is a determined force of nature. A novice sailor, ignorant of the wind, will be tossed about helplessly. But the skilled sailor, who understands the principles of sailing, can use that very same wind to guide the boat exactly where they want to go. They are free not because they defy the wind, but because they understand and work with it. Similarly, we become free when we understand the determined nature of the world and our own minds. Ultimately, Spinoza's philosophy is a deeply optimistic guide to finding peace. He tells us that we have the power, through our own thinking, to transform our suffering into understanding and our anxiety into tranquility. The path is simple, though not always easy. Pay attention. Use your reason. Strive to understand the causes of things, especially within yourself. By doing so, we can move from being a troubled part of nature to a calm and knowing one. We can find a stable and enduring happiness that rests not on good fortune, but on the timeless wisdom of seeing things as they truly are.